How's it going, YouTube? Welcome to part 17 to Intro to GUI and Java series. Today we're going to be talking about event listeners. Alright, let's get straight to the code. The three most used event listeners in Java are action listeners, mouse listeners, and key listeners. Today we're only going to be discussing key listeners and mouse listeners. Starting with our mouse listener, we're going to have our main class, implements, mouse listener. Let's take a look at our program. We have our J label, which says mouse listeners, and then we have a first and second button. First one says hi and the second one says bye. The abstract methods given to our main class from the mouse listener class are mouse clicked, mouse press, mouse released, mouse exited. The mouse clicked method checks if the mouse has been clicked. The mouse press method checks after you make a click, do you hold on to the left button of your mouse? A mouse release checks if, or after you've pressed, do you release the left mouse or the left button of your mouse? Mouse entered checks if the mouse is in the proximity of the GUI component that calls on the mouse listener. And mouse exit is the complete opposite. It checks if the mouse is out of the proximity of the GUI component that uses that mouse listener. So first we're going to experiment with the mouse pressed and the mouse released methods. So if me.getSource is equal to button 1. We're going to set the background of our button to white, the foreground of our button to Carolina blue, so new color 76, 156, 211, and repeat for the second button. In our mouse release method, we're going to do the complete opposite. We're just going to switch our buttons back to their original colors. So if me.getSource is equal to button 1, button 1.set background to Carolina blue, which is 76, 156, 211, and the foreground of our first button to white. And of course, repeat it for our second button. Next, in our constructor, we're going to have our first button, add mouse listener, this which references the main class implementing the mouse listener class, and repeat for our second button as well. So button 2, add mouse listener. So let's run our program. When we hold our high button, it turns white. If we release our mouse, it goes back to normal. We hold our buy button, turns white, let go, it goes back to normal. Now we're going to repeat for our mouse entered and mouse exited methods. So let's copy mouse press code or cut, put it in our mouse entered method. Then let's cut the code from our mouse release and paste it in our mouse exited. So let's run again. And we put our mouse hovering over and our background turns white. If we move our mouse, it goes back to normal. We put our mouse over our buy button, we move it, it goes back to normal. And those are the basics of mouse listeners. For the key listener, we first need to have our main class implemented. So implements key listener. The abstract methods given from our key listener class are key typed, key pressed, and key released. Key typed method checks if a key has been fully typed.
Well, duh.
So equivalent to the mouse listener where you press and release, that's equivalent to the key being typed. Key press just checks if your finger is still holding down on that certain key on the keyboard. And then key release is when you stop holding that key on the keyboard. Today we're going to experiment with the key pressed and the key released methods. First we're going to have int key equal to ke.getKeyCode. Next we're going to check if key is equal to key event dot, and there's a list of things to check for key event. But for today we're going to check if they press A. We're going to have a character letter equal to our key converted to a character. So char key We're going to set the text of our label to letter plus a string space. Then we're going to set the bounds of our label to 280, 250, 200, and 50. In our key release method, we're just going to set our label back to its normal position. So label.setText, type a key. Then we're going to set the bounds of our label to label.setBounds, 220, 250, 250. In our constructor, we're going to have panel.add KeyListener. And we're going to say this, which references the KeyListener class being implemented by the main class. Also, when you're adding a KeyListener to your GUI component, you must set the focusable of that component to true. So today's example, we have a panel that's using the KeyListener. So we're going to set the focusable of our panel to true. All right, let's run our program. We have our label that says type a key. I'm going to press down on A. Our label turns to A. If I release it, it goes back to normal. Release, or press, release, back to normal. Press, release, back to normal. So those are the basics of event listeners in Java. If you have any questions, comment below. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. All right, thank you for watching.